Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm Producer James.
And I'm Stasia.
And we are watching The Wolverine, minutes 60 through 70. We're on the second half.
Yes, we are. Do you want to know what happens at the beginning of the second half, James?
Yeah.
Wolverine chops a tree, has a World War II flashback, then cuddles with Mariko, and then has a dream, followed by a nightmare.
Sweet.
Not much, basically.
Yeah, no. Importantly, though, in the World War II flashback, Yoshida tries giving Logan his sword.
Yes.
And Logan says, no, thank you. Not right now. I'll be back for it later.
He will return.
Right. So we're going to talk about... I was originally going to just talk about, like, Marvel swords to begin with, because there's this whole somewhat new Krakoan era storyline called X of Swords. Actually, it's called 10 of Swords, but it's the letter X of Swords. But I don't think that's as important as one of the most famous blades in the Wolverine storylines, and that is the Muramasa blade.
Yes.
Hilariously, that's a real person.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He is. He is a real person. Do you want to... Okay, so I know this is an X-Men podcast, but I do think knowing who Muramasa is and the history of it and what is associated with him and his blades will be important to understanding why the authors chose to use this for Wolverine.
Muramasa is a character in the comics. He
Yes.
does show up as a person. This isn't just like the blades are famous. It's not like he made them way back when, and they're very rare. Like he is a character, and he was created in the comics by Claremont.
Yes. But he is also a real person that really lived
And really made swords.
and he's a Japanese blacksmith, very famous. So let's give you a very quick background and then why I think this is important and maybe why he was chosen. So Muramasa is a blacksmith that was kind of active in the 16th century of Japan. His swords were very famous, not only for like a unique shape, like one of the things is like the handle, it like curves and it looks like a fish belly. And also I think the thing that I think most Western depictions of his swords have like the wave pattern on the katana is also like very specifically, there's like a very specific pattern that is
like the
tied to
shape
him.
of it, or like in the steel there's a wave pattern.
Both.
Ooh,
so
okay.
In the wave pattern of the steel, that's one. And the other noted part about his sword is that the handle part that it's like connects to the handle has like this curve that they call a fish belly, like the fish belly curve. So it's like a very distinct shape for the katanas in particular. What you need to know, during this period of time, this is known as the Edo period of Japan. This is like the era of Tokugawa. So Tokugawa Ieyasu, who is a daimyo. So he basically ruled over fiefdoms, which then report to further down the line, or what you might have heard of before, shogunate. Tokugawa Ieyasu is one of like the daimyos that was with Oda Nobunaga, who you might have heard of. He's probably the most famous one. But eventually, through other deaths, Tokugawa Ieyasu becomes the shogunate of Japan. During that period of time, he was a shogunate for a very short time, but he was in the influence of power and like was working with like these other very powerful men and the samurai culture at the time. This era with him and the swords is actually where Muramasa becomes mythology in a lot of ways. Like the relationship of the swords of the Muramasa blades are pretty famous and pretty tied to Tokugawa Ieyasu. So I would like to say that I am not specifically a Japanese historian. Like I have basically a college level understanding of what was going on at this time. I'm sure there are like professors that would like to, who have different opinions, but I'm going to give you just like a general baseline. So keep that in mind.
They also don't know about X-Men though, so you're good.
That's true. But basically like Tokugawa Ieyasu is the person who said that only samurai can carry swords. Like there was like the sword ban. He was like, there was like a period of time where samurai were like they work for the shogunate and they're part of this like class of people. And he actually had Muramasa blades like the shogun did. However, those swords become a symbol of anti-Tokugawa in later periods.
Okay.
And it is said, this is like, I was going through academic sources and I could not find one that like definitively said one. Doesn't mean it's not out there. It just means I didn't find it. That like several of his family members came to their untimely ends at the end of Muramasa blades.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. And so then he is noted later to not like them as much. Whether or not that's actually true, I've seen two different conflicting like sources. One where they basically said that like he owned these blades. It wasn't a big deal. He was not superstitious about them. And others that said that he was. I don't really think there's really a way to tell. I think we can feel pretty safe to assume that he probably wasn't that superstitious of them. But
it's more fun to say that he was.
It definitely feels more fun to say that he was. There's also, I think it's quite interesting. So Muramasa is not the only like very famous blacksmith of katanas even. The writers of X-Men had a choice. They could have chosen another famous blacksmith whose name is Masamune.
Okay.
He lived about 200 years before Muramasa. So we're talking about like 1300-ish era. I would argue that he is perhaps like more famous even than Muramasa. But I think something to keep in mind is that the mythology between these like two very revered blacksmiths have become entwined, which ties into the concept of these Muramasa blades be called Yoto, which means wicked or cursed blades.
Okay.
So that is like a real historical like mythology to them.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of academics have ascribed it to the fact that like it becomes an anti-Tokugawa symbol. It killed his family, etc. So like there's these negative connotations around it. But I would also say that there are stories and mythologies. There's one that it shows up in a couple of different academic books, but in one in particular, it's called Masamune, His Work, His Fame, and His Legacy by Marcus Sesko. So he's talking about the earlier blacksmith in 1300. I know their names are very similar, so this is kind of hard to tell apart, but there was a myth that Masamune taught Muramasa. That Muramasa was his student. Yeah. They lived 200 years apart.
200 years doesn't
that did not happen. But I think what's important is that the mythology is that Masamune and Muramasa were having a competition over the sharpness of their blades because they both make these katanas. And to test it, their contest, they put their blades in a creek with the cutting edge facing the current. This is a quote from his book. And Muramasa's sword goes first, and it cuts everything that passes his way. Fish, leaves floating down the river are attracted to his sword and split immediately. Ooh. So the sword that Muramasa makes draws everything into it and cuts it in twain. And then Masamune, his master, puts his sword, and when he puts his sword in the river, everything drifts away from the sword. But
does the river also split?
I don't think the river split in this version of the story, but this is a mythology.
That feels like a real mythology thing, though.
Not a leaf was cut. All the fish swam right up to it and then around it. The air hissed as it gently blew by his blade. So he doesn't even split the air. And Muramasa scoffs at his master, right? For his, this is again quote, apparent lack of skill, right? But Masamune pulls up his sword, smiling, and then just sheaths it. And then after this, a monk who had been watching this comes over, bows to both of these master, and then says, the first of the swords was fine, but a bloodthirsty evil blade, a yoto, that does not discriminate between who or what it will cut. It may as well be cutting down butterflies as it could be severing heads. The second, was by far the more finer of the two and does not needlessly cut, which that is innocent and undeserving. So
interesting.
You have two blade masters, right? That one of which is considered, mythology twists him into the student of Masamune, but Muramasa's sword is the evil sword that cuts things down, whereas Masamune's swords are like gentle and righteous and the good sword. So there's actually a good and evil swords. They both exist. And also, even crazier, I found accounts that said that Tokugawa Ieyasu also had Masamune swords. He had both. So I just think it's quite interesting. Why I think that the authors of the X-Men comics, which is what we're here to talk about today, chose Muramasa instead of Masamune is one. Okay, an evil blade is cool.
Well, the first, I will say, when we get into the comics, the first Muramasa blade is cursed.
Actually,
literally cursed.
Yes. Yeah, and it is like there's mythology that believes that all the blades are cursed.
Awesome.
So that is any blade that Muramasa makes is cursed. Like, because it is considered that he like put he as a person was kind of twisted and war, like bloodily hungry for war, and so his swords reflect that.
Okay. That also will come into effect in the comics as well.
I'm sure. I think one, cool cursed swords. Yeah,
absolutely.
That sounds more cool than like the sword of pure good. Sometimes we're writing a Wolverine book, let's be real. But I do also think it's really important in the time periods that they exist, because I would say Muramasa, the Tokugawa shogunate, is the end, the Edo period is the end of the samurai. Mm-hmm. This is like the last samurai. That is that period. After the Tokugawa shogunate, it's the Meiji Restoration. It's the force of Japan to open up to trade by the British. We're talking about like colonialism. We're talking about modernization to like modern economies, the dying off of the samurai. They chose the sword master, who is the last real true mythological making like sword master before basically Japan becomes a modern country. And I think that's on purpose, because Wolverine also gives that last samurai, lost man, a man out of time vibe. So to pair up the Muramasa with Wolverine feels like, from a writing perspective, like as an author, perfect. It like really works. And I think as we're going to go into the comics here, they leaned on that on purpose, and it seems like they definitely knew what they were doing.
All right. Well, let's get into the comics.
Yes.
We're going to start with, so there are two, there's more than two. There's the first, we'll start with the first Muramasa blade. We're talking the first ongoing Wolverine series from 1988. Mm-hmm. Right off the bat. We're talking number 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Okay. So this one is referred to as the Black Blade. And it is truly black. There is a cult around it. There's a cult of the Black Blade that's trying to find it. The blade doesn't appear until the second issue, and it's in the hands of Jessica Drew, a.k.a. Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
At this point in the comics, Spider-Woman does not have powers. I don't know why. I didn't go into it because it does not matter for us.
That's very true.
But she comes... And there's like a black, sexy, like Japanese inspired outfit that goes along with this blade.
Yeah.
And it is cursed. And it is cursed in the way that she is like possessed by a demon. So she is not acting of her own accord. She is acting by the way the blade wants her to act. The cult feels that the blade should be it's trying to find its own master's hand, like somebody that can control the blade, essentially. Mm-hmm. The first fight is Jessica Drew, Wolverine, and Silver Samurai. Okay. We'll get into Silver Samurai another day, but he's there and they're all fighting. Jessica loses the blade at one point. Wolverine picks it up. And then from number 2 to number 3, he is cursed with that blade, and now he's kind of the bad guy for like a full issue. He fights Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai then ends up getting the blade. He ends up defeating him. He gets the blade and doesn't get cursed by it, but it also doesn't control it in the way that he thinks, because his mutant ability does go through weapons.
Okay.
That is part of his. We'll go into it more later, but he channels energy through swords.
Okay.
He then takes off with the blade, and it's never seen again. Okay. Like, the Black Blade hasn't been around since 1988.
Wow.
Because we get into the 2003 run, so it's later than that, but it's issue number 40. Wolverine now has his memories back, post House of M, and it is a flashback to end of World War II. He's with Itsu, And this is the birth of Dakin. And we
Yeah.
remember all, like, these are a bunch of old episodes we've talked about. We've talked about this issue before.
We have.
But we didn't talk about when Itsu was murdered by Winter Soldier. Wolverine he was banned from the village.
Yes.
And he found his way to Muramasa because he had heard this guy was out there. And he wants a blade for revenge. So he is angry. He's Wolverining. Okay?
Mm-hmm. I also love this Muramasa has lived until post-World War II.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Muramasa in this is immortal.
Right.
So, like, not invincible, I don't think, but definitely immortal. So he's still around. He then makes a blade using part of Wolverine's soul and some of his blood. And that is the Muramasa blade that we more talk about. The second blade is like, when you talk about the Muramasa blade, it is this blade. It's not the black blade.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the one with made with Wolverine's soul is the one that I think of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what why the blade is so important? Like, what does it do?
I don't know if this is the thing that you're talking about. I know that it is actually useful to cut through people who have healing powers. So
that is the number one thing that you always talk about.
I know.
Yes.
I was like, that's how you kill Sabretooth. That's how you kill Omega Red, I think.
Yeah, he stabs Omega Red with it. Yep.
Like that is the thing I know about the Muramasa blade is that it also can cut through Cyclops' lasers.
Yeah, I think
at a molecular level. Yes.
There is times where it's described as being plasmic. And so it's not that the blade is sharp, it's that the blade is separating things at a cellular level.
Okay.
Though if you talk like that, it should... Oh, no, it does cut through adamantium, too.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So,
yes.
Wolverine has the Muramasa blade. He ends up giving it to Wolverine, or to Cyclops. He ends up giving it to Cyclops at one point because he wants Cyclops to be able to use it if he needs to take out Wolverine.
If I distinctly remember, I believe the line is, "I know you won't hesitate to use it to kill me."
I believe that is
which
the
is
line.
Correct.
Dakin. So we're talking like Origins now, like 33, 34.
Okay.
Dakin has a plan. He wants the blade, and he wants to bond it to his claws
That's pretty sick.
instead of using it as like a sword.
That seems like a bad idea to have a cursed sword bonded to you, but that's a separate.
So he gets it doesn't really matter. Cyclops gets out in the open with the blade and Dakin like bum rushes him. And he doesn't get the sword itself, but he takes out like all the X-Men that are there and the sword gets shattered. Like the tip of it gets shattered. And he steals the fragments from the sword. He finds the Tinkerer, and he says, "Hey, man, bond him. My man, put him in there." And so he gets him in. Like, if you've ever seen Dakin, and maybe, if you haven't, he doesn't have 3 claws like Wolverine coming out at the top. He's got 2 on the top and 1 coming out the wrist. Mm-hmm. So he pops it in the wrist one. But, like, they even have to be like, you have to put it in these. We have to install a special sheath so it doesn't cut you every time while it's just in you. So he has Muramasa's claw popping out the bottom. And the idea is he wants to kill Wolverine with it. Mm-hmm. We get Romulus nonsense. We'll just put it there. Yeah. Everyone's being manipulated. And Dakin gets the chance to do it. And he pops his claws into Wolverine's chest, but he doesn't pop the Muramasa claw. He specifically like pulls his punch.
Yeah.
And doesn't do it. Later, so that's like, we're talking Origins 47. Like this keeps going throughout this. In 48, they do get a final like Wolverine versus Dakin. They're going to fight. This is it. Mm-hmm. Wolverine wins. And instead of killing Dakin with what's left of the Muramasa blade, he then pulls out Dakin's Muramasa claws. Like he cuts his arm, pulls them out, and then leaves with them. Because the rest of him is an adamantium. And that's what they say in the book. Wolverine's claws are attached to more adamantium. So like you can't just pull his claws out.
That's not how it works.
It's not how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But with Dakin, you could honestly... You could just have chopped his whole hand off.
Yeah, and you would have been okay.
And you'd been fine because like he's just bone.
Dakin is much easier to kill, unfortunately for him.
So he buries what's remaining of the blade and these claws in a grave on the Howlett estate in Canada. Okay? And they stay there until all new Wolverine. We're talking Laura Kinney is Wolverine, Logan is dead, and we're in issue number 27. In this issue, there is a organization called the Orphans of X, and it is a bunch of family members of people who have been orphaned, like their family members have died due to Wolverine and Wolverine related events.
Nonsense. Okay.
That's
a lot of people.
Yes. Well, the lead of it ends up being like the person who specifically, it's like his dad is the one who got X-23 into all the nonsense she does in her opening, storylines and whatever. So anyway, Laura wants to get the blade, and she knows where it's hidden. She sends Captain Marvel to do it, and the Orphans of X bum rush her, get the blades, turn those blades into bullets.
Oh.
So now we got Muramasa bullets hanging out.
Oh, interesting.
And to show that they work, they rounded up, man, these people are powerful. They rounded up Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and Old Man Logan, and then shot them all in the head.
Oh.
That was the end of an issue. Just pop, pop, pop.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Dakin's in this one. So now we're talking like Dakin's a good guy now, essentially.
Dakin, he has come around.
He's come
a couple
around,
times.
and at this point, he's come around. He's missing an arm. The Orphans of X were torturing him. They rescued him. Whatever. His healing factor is working slow, so he, for most of this, doesn't have an arm, and then has to grow back later. He gets shot in the gut, and Laura ends up coming up with the idea of so the bullet went through, so the bullet hole can't heal. So basically all the scar tissue around where he got shot is unused, it will not come back.
Yeah.
So she has to go past that and cut an even bigger hole so that hole will heal.
Pull it out, and so he could heal.
Yeah, I think it was a clean shot through.
Yeah.
But still, he's bleeding out, and they had to she had to cut around the tissue that's not.
It's a very
there.
Laura Kinney X-23 thing to do.
Right? So
how do we solve this whole problem? What if we made a bigger hole?
So this all happens in issue 28. And a side note, this is where Dakin gives Gabby Kinney the code name Honey Badger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
She goes, Honey Badger. He goes, yeah, you're sweet and you have claws. And she goes, yeah. And then she get almost like a half splash panel of Honey Badger instead of Wolverine on all the iconic Wolverine covers.
I love that.
But it's Gabby in all the positions. Amazing. Has nothing to do with Muramasa. I just loved that happened. We need some cute here in the middle, okay?
Yeah.
They're on the run because the Orphans of X have these Muramasa bullets.
Yeah.
They find Muramasa because they're like, we're going to need his help. Turns out, Muramasa actually made a shield when he made the sword. Originally with Wolverine.
Okay.
So there's this blue shield that almost has an Oni mask design with some ornate stuff on it, but it's very blue. The sword is red sometimes in some comics, or it just looks like a sword in most comics. This time it's red, so you got red and blue. Laura's like, hey, we're going to need more protection than the shield. There's more of us. He's like, well, I can't make stuff for all of you, but one of you I can protect. And so basically Laura, Dakin, and Gabby all give up a piece of their souls so that he can make armor. So he makes full head to toe Wolverine blue armor.
That's sick.
So she's got that and the shield, and then she's still able to pop her claws.
Laura Kinney.
Okay. It's funny, I had Wolverine in my notes, and I was just like, it's not that, it's the Laura Wolverine, because at that point she is Wolverine.
Yeah, X-23, yeah.
But X-23. So they get attacked at Muramasa's castle. Dakin does the sacrifice play.
Of course.
He opens he opens up his body with his claw, pops in a phone, and then is like, I got this. And then they'll find him by like find my phone. So apparently reception inside your body, no problem.
Still good.
He then gets shot in the head at their headquarters. So he's quote unquote dead. Laura barges in full armor, full shield. She even Captain America's at one point.
That's pretty cool.
And they like dig out the bullet holes as if like they did with the gut hole. Yeah. So like they just cut around the like essentially necrotic tissue to heal everybody. So everybody is healed up. Like they all get better.
They got better.
Because they all have like crazy
healing powers. I'm surprised they bothered with Sabretooth, to be quite honest with you.
Right. Well, Sabretooth does get beheaded by it once and cut apart by it, like the Muramasa blades. In Origin, it keeps popping up. There's just like nothing terribly important. It's just like he fights with it a bunch and it works, you know, like he beheads Sabretooth with it. And I don't know how Sabretooth came back because whatever. That's not important about the sword, you know?
Yeah.
What's interesting is that whole side story that whole like story ends up not being a fight, but Laura being like, I get it, man. Y'all were wronged and you were wronged by people like us, but we weren't the people that did it. People hired people like us, or they manipulated people like us, or they were controlling people like us. Let's find those people and make sure that they're not killed,
but they pay,
but that they end up coming to justice.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that story.
Okay.
But then at this point, then it seems like the Muramasa blade's just gone. Like we just don't have it anymore. Come to X of Swords.
Yes.
Or 10 of Swords.
Yeah.
I still like saying X of Swords.
I like saying X of Swords too, but I know it's 10 of Swords.
Well, I know it's 10 of Swords, but if you were to try searching 10 of Swords, that's not going to come up as much.
It is not.
So I'm not going to go into it a ton what 10 of Swords is.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and maybe we'll go into it later.
It's like the one Wolverine thing I have read in its entirety, which is saying something.
So Logan is back because it's Krakoa. And there's another character that is from Iraq. He's Iraqi. And this is these are the people who end up being on Mars.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into it. That's all we need to go into. His name is Solem. Solem. He has adamantium skin. The two of them are tasked before this contest to get a Muramasa blade. Turns out Muramasa is in literal hell. Sent there by the hand to forge weapons. Yada, yada, yada. They kill a bunch of hand. They end up each getting a Muramasa blade. Okay? And this is the one that when we were talking about Wolverine losing his healing factor, at the end of the Fall of Krakoa Wolverine run, he had an adamantium suit with a Muramasa blade. That is that Muramasa blade. We do not know what has happened to that since.
Okay, it's kind of dropped in the story again.
It has not popped up again in another Wolverine story that I've read. So right now it's still in play, as far as I can know. Solemn's, on the other hand, does show up in Deadpool, but we're talking like 2024 Deadpool. We're talking real new stuff. Yeah. Very recent run. During this run, this is the one that has Taskmaster in it. It's got his Carnage dog named Princess. That's a whole thing. And then his actual daughter, Ellie, who then becomes another Deadpool. So they are going up against a villain named Death Grip. And Death Grip found Solem and was like, hey, man, I need that Muramasa blade.
Because that's how you can kill Deadpool.
That's the
one. That is the coolest thing about the Muramasa blade is that it can kill people with healing factors. The healing factors don't really work.
So he absorbs it magically.
Ooh.
So it's not just like, I'm going to use this sword on you. It's like now his magic takes out Deadpool.
Oh, wow.
So like their first time up against each other, he cuts off an arm and a leg and they don't grow back.
Yeah.
And then later he just straight up kills Deadpool. And Deadpool is dead for issues. Like probably a good dozen issues is Ellie trying to get Deadpool back.
Wow.
And yada, yada, yada. He gets back. He gets better because that's how comic books work.
Yeah.
I don't need to go into why. But they end up killing Death Grip. like a bunch of nonsense. It basically it's the end of the run. Like the beginning of the run is Death Grip getting the Muramasa blade, and the end of the run is Death Grip dying.
Okay.
But that means he died with the Muramasa blade.
Okay.
So that one is off the
Also
table
gone.
now. So
Yeah.
and I think right now we are back to one Muramasa blade.
Well, and the first original one that we have not seen since the
No,
80s.
so the black blade. There's
Yeah,
the black blade,
yeah.
and there is the Muramasa blade.
But I doubt anyone's going to bring the black blade
no,
back.
someone's got to remember, or
Yeah.
Claremont's gonna do another like side issue of something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Black Blade is. I don't think it'll come back because it's either gotta be in the hand of whoever's supposed to be wielding it, or hey, you just got another possessed item,
Yeah.
a possessed cursed item, which I feel like Silver Samurai won't give up. So someone's gotta steal it from him.
Yeah, that would have to be the case.
But yeah, so that's the Muramasa blade. I mean, his blades.
Yeah.
Because until X of Swords, it was just really the two blades. And for all intents and purposes, the one blade that we really care about that wasn't more than 3 issues.
Right, yeah.
So there you go.
It's so interesting. I'm glad that they brought it back. I mean, we didn't talk on it too much, and we don't really have much time to talk about it, but I do find it like quite interesting because in X of Swords, 10 of Swords, Muramasa in Hell, like, I don't know, he is considered a bad person. Like,
Yeah.
he does feel like a bad guy. He is, but he somehow is also
But in
the
all new
source of the
Wolverine, he's
swords.
not, though.
It's so
That's the thing.
strange. Yeah, they're kind of weird with him, which I guess reflects the real mythology
I
of this
guess
person.
it's mostly just all new Wolverine that paints him in a better
In a
picture.
better light, yeah. But not in Ten of Swords.
No.
Yeah.
He's in hell. Well,
Yeah.
he was sent to hell.
But he seems
By-
like he
by
like is
the
cool with
hand.
it.
I don't know. He looks pretty beat up.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
true.
like wasted away.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think he has the choice at that point.
No, he doesn't.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's all we have this week.
Yeah.
I'm producer James,
I'm Stasia.
and we'll see you for the next 10.